Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another launch stream. Today we are covering Intelsat G31, G32, and with us we have Mr. V.
Good evening, everyone. Today will be the exciting launch of Galaxy 31 and 32 satellites of Intelsat. Now we can go through the website, like SpaceX website, and we'll know the mission profile and different details related to it. They have yet to start the live stream.
Right. So, in the meantime, we can just go through the intro.
So these are like Intelsat and Intelsat G31 and 32 mission, which are like for television in North American region. So it will be above America in geosynchronous transfer orbit. Um, so yeah, it is like there are already some satellites of Intelsat which are there, and they are becoming old. Like, it's more than 10-20 years old. They are going to be soon out of service, so they will be replaced by G31 and 32.
Right. So, this would be the 158th orbital launch attempt and 51st mission of Falcon 9 in this year. So, the Falcon 9, as stated here,
Yeah, they have launched a lot of satellites.
the first stage booster, as mentioned here, it was previously launched on the Dragon's first crew demonstration mission. So, with a turnaround day of 118, this Block 1051 is into its 14th flight. And this is the countdown, uh, which has been displayed from 38 minutes before the launch. And this is the mission profile.
Sound is low.
How about now? Better?
Yeah, better. You can continue.
Yeah. So this is the mission events after the launch. So first major event would be the max Q, followed by MECO and the stage separation. So the three events: MECO, stage separation, and second stage ignition. Uh, this happens within 10 seconds. So quite in succession, three events take place.
Yeah, and Falcon 9, most of the time it follows the same sequence. Yeah.
So these two payloads, Galaxy 31 and 32, they are intended into a GTO, geostationary transfer orbit, and would be deployed in about half an hour post the launch. I think so. Today, the webcast of SpaceX would cover the deployment as well.
Yes, sir. Because just 38 minutes, so they can show
Yeah,
the.
and moreover, it was not a defense related mission, so that's why they'd be able to cast it.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. This will be the longest streaming for SpaceX. Normally, they have a very short stream.
Earlier, they used to invest a lot of time for streaming. Their stream would start before half an hour or an hour before. But nowadays, they are just coming live just 15 minutes or
Yeah,
so before the launch.
yeah, because just like every week they are having a launch, so it's becoming less important to explain the technical details and all, and more focused on launch. Like,
But then also, the streaming doesn't take a lot of efforts, I think so.
yeah, it doesn't take, but I don't know. This SpaceX stream will start soon.
Yes, it is about to start at around 9:30 IST, about 3 minutes from now.
Yes. And after starting, like within 10 minutes, it is going to be launched. If you see like uh, Falcon 9, it has 9 Merlin engine, sea level engines. So it is a sea level engine, and thrust. Each engine produces around 845 kilonewton of thrust. And sea level engine, like it will not be so efficient in vacuum. It will be highest efficiency will be near sea level, okay, in the lower atmosphere. Then and it will be Merlin engine will be mostly consist of RP1 and liquid oxygen as a main fuel.
And the same set of propellants are used in the upper stage, which is the Merlin vacuum engine. All the same, but just it is vacuum optimized.
Yeah, and more nozzle will be like nozzle length and dimension will be different.
Yes, it would
It will be more
be.
big
Yes, the
compared to
expansion ratio would be higher.
uh, expansion ratio will be high.
So
And
today's launch would be.
even
Yeah,
yeah,
go on, go on.
even ISP will be high like for second stage. Then compared like ISP of second stage is like 348 seconds, and for first stage it is 285. That's all.
Yeah, and this is just because of the reduction in atmospheric pressure. So the second stage is ignited at a higher altitude, because of which there is low ambient pressure. That's why the performance is better.
Mm. Now the streaming will start. Actually, it has to start by now.
The Intelsat Galaxy 31 and 32 satellites to orbit. Now, the payload for today's launch are enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is that nose cone structure at the very top of the second stage. It's made of a carbon composite material, and it protects the
Yeah,
satellites.
it's just 5 minutes into the launch.
We'll jettison those fairing halves approximately 3 minutes into the flight, and both of those fairing halves are flight proven, having flown, both of them flying for their 5th times. We'll be attempting to recover them after separation on a recovery vessel named Bob. Now, lastly, that large truss structure next
It's
to the vehicle is
the
called
booster which is supporting this
Transport
mission
Erector, or the TE.
has
We use it to
for
roll the
previous
rocket
13
to the
missions
pad
that
and
done.
raise it to its vertical
So I
launch
think that this will
position.
be the 14th mission for the
Now,
booster.
the TE routes vehicle fluids, power, and telemetry from the ground systems to the rocket, and that continues until Falcon 9 switches over to
Even the
internal
fairing
power
will
and
be
clears the
recovered
pad.
in this mission. That is also very interesting.
You
Like
might be able to see
fairing will
out
be
there, we've
like
begun
it
to
will be
open the clamp lines
splashing on the sea,
around the second
and
stage. That's in
afterwards it will be
preparation for
rescued,
transporter erector
removed through
retract.
port.
And that's where the TE will begin to slightly back away from the stage to clear the way for liftoff at T-0 hydraulic systems. There's a call out there for strong back retract. At T-0, the hydraulic systems will actually pull the TE further away, clearing the way further for Falcon 9's liftoff. And you can see there the TE making a small angle with the first stage. You also may have heard some call-outs there that we've begun pressurizing the stage in preparation for TE retract. So we've begun pressurizing the system. We use a helium pressurant on Falcon 9 to pressurize the tanks. Now, at this point in the countdown, we are nearly fully loaded with about 1 million pounds of RP1 fuel. That's a type of refined kerosene.
Stage 1, LOX go complete.
And liquid
The view is
oxygen
very
on the
beautiful,
vehicle.
like
We
the
just heard the
clouds
call
moving.
out there that liquid oxygen loading is complete on the first stage. We'll hear a
Also, there is
similar
like
call out for liquid oxygen loading complete
there
on
were
the second
in
stage.
Florida, there were
Falcon
like
9
storm and
uses
all,
rocket
because of
propellant
which
one as its
Artemis
fuel and
was
liquid
postponed.
oxygen as its oxidizer. An oxidizer is a type of chemical that a fuel requires to burn, and we chill that liquid oxygen significantly below its boiling point. That allows us to load more mass per volume into the vehicle and get more propellant and performance out of the rocket. Now, in addition to both the RP1 and liquid oxygen, we use a chemical called TTEB, triethyl aluminum and triethyl borane, as an ignition source. When we combine those two chemicals, they
Beautiful view
they produce a hot flame
from
that
the
ignite the
tower.
RP1 and liquid oxygen to make the rocket go. Coming up, we're about 10 seconds away from liquid oxygen loading complete on the second stage. With that call out, we will be completely loaded with propellants for flight.
Stage 2, LOX flow complete.
So with that, we are fully loaded with propellants in preparation for liftoff. We'll see some venting from the transporter erector coming up here. And just a quick status update, both the payloads continuing to look healthy. Weather 90% go. It's a beautiful day at Florida today for that on-time liftoff. There you can see on this wide-angle shot, you can see some venting
Ground gas, launch closeout.
from the transporter erector. We're clearing out the liquid oxygen from the lines in preparation for liftoff. That's totally normal. And coming up about 20 seconds from now, we'll have our next major milestone. That's where Falcon 9's internal flight computers.
I think the first stage will not be recovered.
That's where Falcon 9
because they are not
transitions to
showing any
startup.
details regarding the recovery, even in the profile mission launch profile.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
So from here, the launch team will provide their final go for liftoff.
Because they are done with so many missions, like now no point of recovery.
LG, go for launch.
They will have to scrap the
Giving their final go
first
for
stage, I
launch.
think.
30 seconds.
30 seconds to go. Let's watch as Falcon 9 takes Intelsat Galaxy 31 and 32 to orbit.
Seconds.
5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff of Intelsat Galaxy 31 and 32. Go Falcon 9.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressure nominal.
Successful
Yes.
liftoff of Falcon 9 from Space Launch Complex 40 at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. We're carrying the Intelsat Galaxy 31 and 32 payloads to orbit. Now, we've just begun throttling down the Merlin 1D engines in preparation for maximum dynamic pressure. And we've also begun to
Interesting.
tilt the
Again.
engines. That's called gimbaling. And that's why we've begun to move horizontally away from the launch pad. That maneuver is
Means
called
they have to launch
gimbaling.
one tanker or something like that, satellite which will contain fuel, which will be
Call
used
out
as
there
refueling,
for
or some type of
Q, that's the
module
point of
which can be
maximum dynamic
detached,
pressure.
attached,
Now, briefly going back to the
so
gravity
that
tool,
they can
we're still
detach
heading
the
up. So you can
already
see the speed and altitude are increasing, but we're
existing
also heading
fuel,
away
and
from
they
the
can
launch
attach
pad.
another module.
And we do
Maybe.
that because a rocket needs to go about 17,500 miles an hour horizontally in order to avoid being pulled back to planet Earth. So we'll keep speeding up the vehicle to get to
Okay.
orbit. Now,
Okay.
coming up in about a minute, we've got 3
Back
events
chilling.
back to back.
Okay.
That is main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, and then second engine start number 1. Main engine cutoff is where we'll shut down all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. That's in preparation for stage separation, where the first stage
So
will
whether
push
these
off to second
satellites
stage,
can be
and
refueled?
then second engine start number 1
There are
will
details around that.
ignite the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. So again, MECO, main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, and then SES-1. Got all of those beautiful views. This is a view from the first stage camera,
Yeah, mainly
of the
the
first stage towards planet Earth.
lifetime of
See
the
the
satellite is
Merlin
depend
1D is
upon the
clearly
fuel
expanding as
more
the
than
density
what is
gets
a
less and
instruments
less.
or any other problem, but more on fuel. So by doing this, they can, like save money and lot of advantage will be there.
Stage separation confirmed. And back ignition. Stage 1 IOTS is saved.
Awesome. So MECO, stage sep, and second engine start complete. Now coming up next in about 20 or so seconds will be fairing separation. Again, both of these fairing halves having flown 5 times before today's mission.
Let's see whether it will be visible on the stream.
And some great views.
Yeah, one of the
again,
machine
from
got
the
visible.
Merlin vacuum engine.
Bearing separation confirmed.
So there is successful fairing separation. We'll be attempting to recover those fairing halves again once they
It's
back to
visible.
Earth on a recovery vessel named Bob.
Acquisition of
You can
sleep.
actually
But
see
only
one of the fairing
one
halves
fairing
in
edges,
frame
one
there
part.
as it goes back to
Second
planet
part
Earth.
will be
We
different.
actually got our first glimpse of the payload as well today. As a reminder, we are not attempting landing on our first stage. So the next major milestone will be second engine cutoff number 1. That's about 4 minutes from now. And again, the reason we're not attempting to recover our first stage today is because today's payload needed a little more performance out of Falcon 9. And so we had to use the propellants that we would normally use for the entry burn and landing burn to instead take the payload to orbit. Now, the first of these 2 burns is taking us into what's called a parking orbit. So that is a roughly circular orbit that we'll be going into before we take a second burn later on in today's
Okay,
broadcast.
like they need to land. If they have to go, they need to land it somewhere else. They can't land on.
And ultimately, the payloads will be going to
Maybe that's the
what's
reason.
called a geostationary transfer orbit before they continue their mission onto geostationary orbit.
Yes, yes.
So for this first burn, the
Yes.
Merlin vacuum engine is continuing to burn and take the second stage and the payloads to orbit. Now, the Merlin vacuum
Yes, yes.
engine is extremely similar to the Merlin 1D
The
engines.
satellites
It does feature
weigh
one
around
dependency,
like
a much
3,500
larger
approximately
expansion nozzle, and that allows us to maximize the efficiency of the
overall.
burn in space.
Overall.
And the reason that expansion nozzle makes the burn more efficient is because we're able to expand the gases further
And
in the
on top
vacuum
of that, they
space
have
than
to
we would
launch it
on the
to
ground.
geostationary. So
On the
yeah,
ground, we've got about 14 pounds per
that
square
makes sense.
inch of pressure from the atmosphere pushing down on us. And so as you try to expand a gas, you have to keep the pressure matching with that atmospheric pressure. And that means you can't get as much push out of the gas out of the nozzle. But in the vacuum of space, we don't have to contend with that. And so we can actually get more of the force out of the expanding
Yeah, I also was
propellant
thinking, what
to
is
push
that?
the
But they
second stage, and
changed the
that
camera
increases the
variation. So
efficiency.
okay.
And Merlin Vacuum operates with the highest efficiency
Yeah,
ever made for an American hydrocarbon rocket engine.
yes, yes. Maybe some space bird
Now, you may have
got hit.
noticed on the
It
pad
looks like
that the
a
second stage
feather.
looks very
So,
similar to the first stage. It doesn't just look similar, it has the same diameter, it uses the same metal composition in the tanks, the same computers, and the same propellants, and almost the same engine. And that allows us to use similar tooling, design techniques, and systems to build two rockets that are more reliable. Anything that we learn on the first stage often applies to the second stage and vice versa.
maybe they're just
And if
gaining
you're just
speed
joining
in
us,
that
welcome. You're watching
because
our
altitude
webcast
is not
coverage of the
increasing,
Intelsat
but
Galaxy
speed
31
is
and
increasing.
32
Yeah,
mission.
Trajectory is phenomenal.
but
You've got
yeah,
a
that is,
view of the second stage Merlin vacuum engine, along with planet Earth behind us. We're about
yeah,
4
it
minutes
should
away
increase like at least
to a
1 2
5-minute burn.
kilometer in some
We
time,
had
but it's
successful
not increasing. It's
liftoff,
stuck.
stage separation, and second engine
Yeah, yeah.
start, as well as
Maybe
fuel
it's
integration
the
from Space
glitch
Launch
or something.
Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. And we didn't attempt to recover our first stage today as we needed the propellants
That thing is
for
visible now also. Yeah,
mission
yeah,
performance to get our
visible.
payloads to orbit. Now we're currently awaiting second engine cutoff number 1, or
That feather or
CK1,
something. Something was stuck. No?
that coming up in just about 20 seconds from now.
Terminal guidance.
Altitude decreased
62
1
FTS
kilometer.
state.
No, I think so. Hmm.
Expected loss of signal, Cape Canaveral. MVAC shutdown.
There is successful confirmation of CK1. So now the teams are going to be evaluating the orbit that we're in. Make sure that we're right on track.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And with that call out, we are in a nominal orbit. Again, this is the first orbit. It is a parking orbit in preparation for our next event. And since we didn't attempt to land our first stage today, the next major milestone will be ignition of our Merlin vacuum engine again. That's for second engine start number 2, expected in about 26 minutes. Excuse me, about 26 minutes into the mission. So,
Yeah,
until then,
now
please
speed and
enjoy the space
altitude is
tunes and the
almost
views from
constant.
space.
It's
We'll see you
not
back at
changing.
T+26.
But speed has to change, yeah? Because Yes. Triethyl aluminum and triethyl boron.
Expected loss of signal, Bermuda.
Yeah, it is Skyroot launch. Yeah. The volume has come down. It's first mission. Yes, maybe. Or maybe space, something. A suborbital makes sense. Yes, yes. So maybe this is just a experimental flight. And it will like use the traditional solid booster as a main engine. So which will be mixture of aluminum and ammonium perchlorate with STPBS binder. So it's a tested, proven formula. So yeah, they just need to do some type of testing and all to see how based on the mission requirements and all. But I think so around 11 o'clock Indian Standard Time. It's 11:30, around 11:30 they will be launching. The volume is low. No. Till now, I didn't see any information about the webinars. I think so. They will stream maybe because they contains like other satellites like from space kits and other. So it's better to stream. I don't know because if they don't stream, then there's no point in. No, because already they are space kits and all the main motivation. Main motivation for space kits is that they want to educate about space and all type of things. So I think so they will stream. It's not just about satellite and all. They are also into education and all sector, educating and about space and space related activities and all. So if you are that company, and you are launching some satellite or something, you need people to see that. That's why I said there's no point if they don't stream. Yeah, and like even with investment, like this is a private company, so streaming and doing some type of advertising will always benefit them. Yeah, it can go, but that by not streaming, it is not. It will not like these investors will not feel like they are. No, they will know anyway. The investors will know that it has gone heaven. But by if it succeeds, it's another game. Yeah. No, I didn't see. Okay. Okay. Is it the normal or is it like some problem with that? Is it normal to go sideways or is it some problem? Like, okay, because even Japanese launch was like little bit difficult. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So they have to like terminate it, last it otherwise. Okay, it was launched 1 year ago. Okay, okay. This is like I thought it's. I think it didn't took off on me. Oh, it took off. Oh, okay. Yes. After Skyroot, like there are other companies also which are in the race, like Uppbeat, Cosmos, and And there are some other companies which have conception like they didn't proceed that much like how Skyroot and Agnicool is. Mainly it's Skyroot and Agnicool. Agnicool rocket name is Agnivan. Is it right? Agnivan. Yeah. After a couple of months, they will also launch Agnicool. There are so many private companies which are coming up. Yeah. ISRO is ISRO, Indian Space Research. So, flight termination system is very sophisticated system which is important if your mission fails or your flight goes somewhere else. Then you need that, especially like in the case of Astra, you can hit a nearby town or some area. These fuels are mostly toxic, very toxic, like not for human grade fuels. Yes, yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Now they are coming up with more fuel, different types of fuel, which is like less toxic compared to previously used. So we can avoid some of the accidents and something occurs. Yeah, green petrol channel. There is one company which makes green, which is research is focused on making green propellant. Ah, yes. Yes, yes. It's not an absolute right. Maybe one may be replaced, one propellant may be replaced, or maybe two.
Acquisition of signal, go on.
Yeah, around 26 minutes, like it will, second stage will be start. This is the benefit of liquid propulsion, like it can be restarted and you can control it.
Welcome back to our webcast coverage of the Falcon 9 mission carrying the Galaxy 31 and 32 satellites for our customer Intelsat. Now, we've had a normal mission so far. Falcon 9 launched on time at 11:06 a.m. Eastern Time from Space Launch Complex 40. Now, and after that, the second stage completed its first burn, taking
Yes,
our
sir.
payload into its initial parking orbit. Now, at this point, we are just under a minute away
Liquid booster,
from
like
the second ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine, which will carry the second stage and the Galaxy 31 and 32 payloads.
I think so.
Into
Oxidizer will be liquid and
the targeted
the other
geostationary
fuel
transfer
will
orbit.
be
That'll
solid.
be the payload deploy orbit.
So if basically if you switch off the oxidizer, no more it will burn and
Vac ignition.
There is successful startup
engine
of the
restarted.
vacuum engine. Now, this burn will last just a little bit over a minute. And I mentioned that we're going to a geostationary transfer orbit. So to the first orbit that we put the payloads into today is called a parking orbit. That was a slightly elliptical orbit. But now we're taking the apogee, that's the highest point of the orbit, all the way up to about 38,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Now, since that's like a huge number, as a point of context, the entire circumference of the Earth is about 40,000 kilometers. So we're taking the stage about as high up as it is to go around the Earth. Now, the payloads are still attached to the stage at this point.
Geostationary is
For
around
the ride,
40,000
and once we are
kilometers.
in
So
this
just now
orbit,
it is just
orbiting around the
206
planet,
kilometers.
we will transition into payload separation. There's successful shutdown of the
Yeah, that is
Merlin vacuum engine. We're going to take a look at
500
orbital
kilometers.
parameters with the ground team.
Yeah.
Nominal orbit position.
And so with that nominal orbit, as I mentioned, the Galaxy 31 and 32 satellites are still attached to Falcon 9's second stage. Payload deployment will begin in about 5 minutes. First, we'll be starting with the Galaxy 32 satellite, followed by Galaxy 31 about 5 minutes after that. So while we wait, we're going to jump back into a coast phase. So hopefully enjoy the views when we get them back and enjoy the space tunes.
In 33 minutes, I think so the first Galaxy 31 will be deployed. Yeah. Yeah, 32. Then 31. You can see that the satellite is above Africa. So it's above Indian Ocean. नहीं अभी अफ्रीका like eclipse.
Acquisition of signal, how to be stopped.
Yes. Yes. They postponed. As I said, like it's maybe because of that storm. There have been hurricane near Florida. Now within 1 minute, Galaxy 32 will be deployed. The SpaceX views are very good, like very beautiful and
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, welcome to our webcast coverage for Intelsat's Galaxy 31 and 32 mission. We had an on-time liftoff at 11:06 a.m.
Yes,
Eastern
yes.
time, followed by successful ascent, stage separation, and 2 second stage engine burn. As a reminder, today's launch continues Intelsat's Galaxy Fleet refresh plan. Intelsat has the most extensive space and ground network combined worldwide, with over 50 satellites, 60 teleports, and point of presence on the ground, as well as 100,000 miles of fiber. Now we're coming up shortly, about 10 seconds to go before deployment of the first of our 2 payloads aboard today.
Confirmed separation on first payload.
And there is successful separation of the Galaxy 32 satellite.
you can see the
So it's
Galaxy
going to make its
32
way
deployed.
to this geostationary transfer orbit, and then continue with some burns to get into its operational orbit later on in the mission. And we are going to jump back to another short coast phase before the second and final deployment of today's mission of the Galaxy 31 payload. That's scheduled to happen in about 5 minutes. So we'll see you back here at T+38.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Maybe for 41. in 38 minutes. Yeah. No, I was just saying that the next deployment is 38 minutes. 38 minutes, 41 seconds.
Edwards, signal Maldives.
US Earth observation sample.
Welcome back to our coverage. We're nearing the end of today's mission for our customer Intelsat. Now, about 5 minutes ago, we deployed the Galaxy 32 satellite, and we're awaiting deployment of the second and final payload on today's mission, Galaxy 31, which you can see on your screen there. Payload deploy coming up just under about 10 seconds from now.
Okay,
separation.
Galaxy 31 is also deployed.
Successful separation of the Galaxy 31 satellite off to continue its mission. So all of us here at SpaceX want to give a big thank you to our customer Intelsat for entrusting us with today's mission. We also want to thank the Range and the Federal Aviation Administration for their support. And before we sign off, SpaceX observed Veterans Day this past Friday, and we wanted to take this time to thank all of our veterans for their service. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in and for your continued support, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend.
Okay, we can end the stream.
Yes, so tonight we have successful GSAT-31 and 32 mission of SpaceX. Thank you all for joining in. See you soon.
Thank you all. And like, share, and subscribe.